On Saturday morning, Hamas launched its biggest operation ever from Gaza, and Israel was totally unprepared for it. What is happening now is unprecedented. Hamas militants cut through the security fence at various places and entered the Israeli border from Gaza. It was the largest cross-border operation in decades. This was done a day after the 50th anniversary of the 1973 surprise attack by Egypt and Syria that started the war in the Middle East at the time. The Hamas leadership certainly understands the importance of the history that got it elected. On the other hand, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says that the country is currently in a state of war, and they will exact a heavy price from their enemies in return for this attack. For the past several months, it has been clear that the risk of tension between Palestinian armed groups and Israel is increasing. However, when and where it would happen was a surprise to everyone except the militant group Hamas. The Israelis and the Palestinians believed that this type of attack could come from the occupied West Jordan, and both of them were focused there. The area between occupied Jerusalem and the Jordanian border has been occupied by Israel since 1967 and has been the scene of continuous violence over the past year. When the Palestinian militant group Hamas attacked Israel by means of land, air and sea, within a few hours these attacks were called intelligence failure by the Israeli media. How is it possible that the Israeli intelligence did not even know about this attack despite having the best resources? Despite all the resources of Israel's internal intelligence agency Shabak, its external intelligence agency Mossad, and the Israel Defense Forces, it is astonishing that no one even anticipated the attack. And even if there was, they failed to stop it effectively. Israel has the most resourceful and extensive intelligence service in the entire Middle East. Along the border fence between Gaza and Israel, there are cameras and ground motion sensors. Apart from this, the Israeli army regularly patrols here. Barbed wire fences have been touted as a smart barrier to prevent any kind of infiltration, but even this barrier did not prove effective during this attack. Hamas militants not only entered through this route, but also cut through the barbed wire and entered Israel through this route or by paragliders and sea. So it is not at all surprising that the Israeli media is asking the country's military and political leaders how this was possible. And that too on the day where 50 years ago a similar surprise attack known as Yom Kippur. The complexity of the Hamas operation suggests that it was planned for months. This was not an immediate reaction to the events in occupied Jerusalem over the past week. The reasons why Israel and Hamas are once again at war are deep. The conflict between Israel and Palestine is intensifying even when the eyes of the international media are not on it. Finally, the Israeli secret services were shocked by Hamas Tufan al-Aqsa operation, when Israelis were thinking about a peaceful religious holiday to worship. Hamas says that it carried out this operation because of the threat posed to the mosques in occupied Jerusalem. A statement on Telegram from Abu Hamza, who claimed to be a spokesman for the militant group Al-Quds Brigades, said that their fighters have taken several Israeli soldiers hostage. Hamas claims it holds 53 prisoners of war, including senior Israeli army officers, many of whom are being held in tunnels that Israel has targeted in the past. Some of these hostages are believed to be held in small towns near the Gaza Strip, while others have been taken to Gaza, which is an unusual situation. Hamas has taken dozens of hostages, both military and civilian, and this is a frightening scenario for many Israelis. Palestinian militant groups have in the past used hostages as bargaining chips for the release of militants held by Israel. In 2011, Israel freed more than 1,000 Palestinian prisoners and secured the release of its officer Gilad Shalit. Among these 1,000 Palestinians, nearly 200 were sentenced to life imprisonment for planning or carrying out attacks inside Israel. And perhaps Israel's biggest concern is how to deter those who are accepting Hamas' offer to take up arms and become part of the militant organization. Also, how should he control the insurgency spreading in the West Bank and how to take action against Hezbollah fighters on the northern border with Lebanon?